You're live from New Delhi, you're watching TT India Newshour, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next hour. India celebrates Constitution Day today. President Draupadi Murmu will lead celebrations at the Old Parliament Building's historic Central Hall. Vice President, Prime Minister, Speaker of Lok Sabha and others to attend. India hits back at Beijing for calling Arunachal Pradesh China's part after detention of an Indian citizen, says Arunachal Pradesh is an integral and inalienable part of India. US envoy Steve Witkoff will meet with Putin next week as Trump removes Thursday deadline for reaching deal. Zelensky welcomes principles of new US draft to end conflict. Brazil's ex-president Jair Bolsonaro starts serving 27-year sentence for coup plot. And on to the details now. President Draupadi Murmu will lead celebrations to mark the Constitution Day at the Old Parliament Building's historic Central Hall on Wednesday. The celebrations will see participation of the Vice President, Prime Minister, Speaker of Lok Sabha, members of Parliament from both the houses, among others. This year marks the 76th anniversary of adoption of the Constitution by the Constituent Assembly. Now, President will lead the reading of the preamble to the Constitution of India during the program. Further, translated version of Constitution of India will be released in 9 languages, including Malayalam, Marathi, Nepali, Punjabi, Bodo, Kashmiri, Telugu, Oriya and Assamese. Now, commemorative booklet, Bharat ke Samvidhan mein Kala aur Calligraphy or Art and Calligraphy in India's Constitution will also be released during the program. And for more on the Constitution Day, we have Vikas Sarthi joining us. Well, Vikas, 76th anniversary of adoption of its constitution by the Constituent Assembly. What's the mood like inside the Old Parliament Building Central Hall today? President Draupadi Murmu will be leading the reading of the preamble. Can you take us through what all is planned for the ceremony?
Right, Lipakshi, there are a number of programs throughout the day. While not only the Parliament, but we will see that the lawyers' bodies and the Supreme Court of India will also hold some kind of programs throughout the day. But the very important, the first program will be around 11 a.m. in the what we call now the Samvidhan Sadan, the Old Parliament Building, where in the Central Hall there will be gathering of member of parliaments, and we will see that President of India, Vice President of India, and the Prime Minister of India will also be participating in that particular function. There will be joint reading of a preamble of the Constitution, and apart from it, as just mentioned, that the translation of Constitution in 9 Indian languages will be released in this very function today itself. So, being a 76th Constitution Day, there are a number of programs throughout the country, not only in Delhi but in the states also. Chief ministers and governors are holding different programs, and apart from it, lawyer bodies across the country are also observing Constitution Day in different manners. The most important program will be in Delhi in the evening, where President of India will be presiding over the function by the Supreme Court of India. Recently, we have seen that the 53rd Chief Justice of India has assumed charge, and in those programs we also see the kind of outlook for the coming years as far as the implementation of various laws, fundamental rights of the citizens, and apart from it, what are the priorities of the government for the upcoming year. All these things will be revealed throughout the day. Particularly during the evening function, we have seen that whenever President participates in those kinds of program, she also expressed her opinion about the implementation of laws and how the courts across the country are also very responsible for upholding the values of the constitution and in ensuring that justice is served throughout those courts. And what are the priorities of the government? She has also mentioned all those things in the previous speeches, and today's speech we also expect that will be on the same lines.
All right, because also, as you also mentioned it, we know that there's going to be a release of the Constitution translation in 9 languages, and a special booklet on its art and calligraphy is also going to be released. Tell us about the significance.
Right, the idea is to let people know about their constitution in their language. Earlier also we have seen the translated versions of the Constitution of India were released. In fact, the very word Constitution Day is coined by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Earlier, it is celebrated as the Law Day, but Prime Minister said that we should change it to the some more meaningful expression, and for that reason now we observe 26 November as the Constitution Day. So the idea behind this translated version is to let people know about the kind of debate we have seen in the parliament, what are the ethos and what are the ideas of the members of that constituent assembly, and for that particular reason these 9 new translated versions will be released today.
All right. Also, because we know that the top leaders, including the Vice President, Prime Minister and the Lok Sabha Speaker, are to attend today's event. What does it tell us about the importance of Constitution Day, especially this year?
Right, being the 76th Constitution Day, we will, as I just mentioned, that we will see number of programs throughout the day, not only by our lawmakers, but by different bodies as well. But since Parliament is the supreme authority as far as the executive is concerned, so legislative is concerned, so we will see that that there will be a series of programs on that front. Or as far as these versions are concerned, we will see that 9 different languages, translation of Constitution in 9 different languages will be released today itself, and it's more kind of a ceremonial function. But being it's the 76th year, we will see not only function today as well. The government may announce a number of series of programs and functions throughout this week or throughout this month. All these things we have seen in the past as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Vikas, for all those details. And moving on, India on Tuesday issued one of its strongest recent statements against China after arbitrary detention of an Indian citizen from Arunachal Pradesh at Shanghai's Pudong International Airport in spite of holding a valid passport. Now, the Ministry of External Affairs in New Delhi sharply rejected Beijing's claims. Responding to media queries, the ministry spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal reaffirmed New Delhi's unequivocal stance on Arunachal Pradesh. He said, and I quote, "Arunachal Pradesh is an integral and inalienable part of India, and this is a self-evident fact. No amount of denial by the Chinese side is going to change this indisputable reality." The issue of the detention has been taken up strongly with the Chinese side. Chinese authorities have still not been able to explain their actions, which are in violation of several conventions governing international air travel. The actions by the Chinese authorities also violate their own regulations that allow visa-free transit up to 24 hours for nationals of all countries, unquote. Well, she was also transiting through Shanghai International Airport on her onward travel to Japan. And moving on, marking a huge step towards the goal of Atmanirbharta or self-reliance in the aviation sector, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be inaugurating the Safran Aircraft Engine Services India or SAESI facility in Hyderabad via video conferencing today. SAESI is Safran's dedicated maintenance, repair and overhaul facility for LEAP or the leading-edge aviation propulsion engines which power the Airbus 320neo and Boeing 737 MAX aircraft. The establishment of this facility marks a significant milestone, and it is not only one of the largest global aircraft engine MRO facilities, but also the first time a global engine OEM, that is original equipment manufacturer, has set up an MRO operation in India. And India's Ayodhya witnessed a moment that will be remembered for generations. Prime Minister Modi hoisted a saffron flag on the spire of the Sri Ram Janmabhoomi temple, marking the completion of the temple's construction and opening a new chapter in India's cultural and spiritual journey.
ये धर्म ध्वजा केवल एक ध्वजा नहीं, ये भारतीय सभ्यता के पुनर्जागरण का ध्वज है.
Marking a historic moment in India's socio-cultural and spiritual journey, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday ceremonially hoisted a saffron flag on the spire of the sacred Sri Ram Janmabhoomi temple in Ayodhya, Uttar Pradesh. The Dhwajarohan Utsav symbolizes the completion of temple's construction, ushering in a new chapter of cultural celebration and national unity. Addressing the gathering, the Prime Minister said, Ayodhya is witnessing yet another pinnacle of India's cultural consciousness.
इसका भगवा रंग, इस पर रचित सूर्य वंश की ख्याति, वर्णित ओम शब्द और अंकित कोविदार वृक्ष राम राज्य की कीर्ति को प्रतिरूपित करता है. ये ध्वज संकल्प है, ये ध्वज सफलता है, ये ध्वज संघर्ष से सृजन की गाथा है, ये ध्वज सदियों से चले आ रहे स्वप्नों का साकार स्वरूप है.
Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath and RSS Chief Dr. Mohan Bhagwat were also present on the occasion. Earlier, Prime Minister Modi visited the Sapta Mandir or 7 temples within the expansive Ram Janmabhoomi complex. These shrines honor Maharshi Vashisht, Maharshi Vishwamitra, Maharshi Agastya, Maharshi Valmiki, Devi Ahilya, Nishadraj Ghu and Mata Shabri. The temples represent the revered gurus, devotees and companions who played pivotal roles in Lord Ram's life. PM Modi said the divine courtyard of Ram Mandir is emerging as a sacred symbol of India's collective strength, inspiring millions across generations.
कि राम मंदिर का दिव्य प्रांगण भारत के सामूहिक सामर्थ्य की भी चेतना स्थली बन रहा है. यहां 7 मंदिर बने हैं. यहां माता शबरी का मंदिर बना है, जो जनजातीय समाज के प्रेम भाव और आतिथ्य परंपरा की प्रतिमूर्ति है. यहां निषादराज का मंदिर बना है. ये उस मित्रता का साक्षी है जो साधन नहीं, साध्य को, उसकी भावना को पूजती है. ये मंदिर हमारी आस्था के साथ साथ मित्रता, कर्तव्य और सामाजिक सद्भाव के मूल्यों को भी शक्ति देते हैं.
The Prime Minister also offered prayers at the Sheshavatar Mandir, dedicated to Lakshman, younger brother of Lord Ram. Situated along the banks of Saryu River, the shrine traces its origins back to the Treta Yuga, adding timeless depth to the temple's spiritual aura. On arrival and after leaving the Ram temple, PM Modi held a vibrant roadshow in Ayodhya. Thousands thronged the streets in a festive, devotional atmosphere filled with chants, bhajans and the resonant sounds of shanks. As the saffron flag flutters high above the Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Mandir, Ayodhya resonates with devotion and pride. A moment etched in history, a symbol of unity, faith and cultural resurgence. And as the celebrations reach their crescendo, the voices of Ayodhya rise together in one eternal chant.
One of the biggest takeaways of the successful culmination of the flag hoisting ceremony on top of the Sri Ram Janmabhoomi temple in Ayodhya is clearly that if a set of people, be it a civilization, struggle for centuries, they can still, if they choose the right path and if they really aspire for it and work hard for it, any goal can be achieved. And that's what is the essence of what Lord Ram did many years ago, ages ago, and this is what India and people of the faith in Lord Ram have achieved today. With camera person Sunil, Gautam Roy, Ayodhya, DD India.
And still to come on DD India Newshour. 26/11 remembered 17 years on, India still awaits justice for Mumbai's darkest night. National Milk Day today. India salutes Dr. Kurian as women-led dairy revolution powers record growth. Badrinath Dham closes for winters amid devotee rush, floral adornments and final soulful darshan.
How much of India's democracy is really a British leftover?
It is outrageous to suggest that the British have any reason to applaud themselves that India is a democracy at the end of 200 years of colonial oppression. Those who demanded democracy were ruthlessly suppressed, arrested, beaten brutally, killed in many cases. There are very many countries that at different times in different ways became democratic without having to go through the great blessing of being oppressed, enslaved and colonized.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on, Union Minister of Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal highlighted that the Indian economy has shown resilience amid global uncertainty and reiterated the government's commitment to accelerating export expansion and diversification. Well, he was addressing the fourth meeting of the reconstituted Board of Trade in New Delhi. Highlighting progress in trade negotiations, the minister said that India's trade diplomacy has resulted in major free trade agreements over the past 2 years, including the India-EFTA TAPA in March 2024 and the India-UK Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement in July 2025, with talks ongoing with several other partners. Now, Goyal called for stronger collaboration between the centre and the states to boost India's export growth and generate more employment opportunities. Also, emphasizing the importance of sharing best practices, the minister urged the states to actively engage successful models in areas such as ease of doing business and single window clearance systems. Goyal stressed that quality must remain the hallmark of India's export basket to enhance global trust and reliability.
Given the challenging circumstances across the world, India continues to be a shining star towards the various free trade agreements under negotiation, whether it is with the EU and US, whether it is with New Zealand and Oman, whether it is with Peru and Chile, whether it is the impending discussions that we are going to launch for a comprehensive economic partnership with Canada.
And 17 years ago, Mumbai faced one of the worst terror attacks in India's history. For nearly 60 hours, 10 heavily armed terrorists from Pakistan-based Lashkar-e-Taiba struck iconic locations across the city, killing 166 people, including security personnel and foreign nationals. India has repeatedly presented evidence proving Pakistan's role in planning and directing the assault and continues to push for action against the masterminds who remain free as yet. We look back at the night that changed India's fight against terrorism.
On the night of 26th of November 2008, 10 terrorists entered Mumbai by sea after hijacking an Indian fishing boat. Splitting into teams, they opened fire and set off explosions at Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus, the Taj Mahal Palace and Trident Hotels, Nariman House and other public spaces. For 3 days, Mumbai burned on live television. By the time commandos neutralized the last gunman, 166 people were dead and over 300 injured. Among the victims were Mumbai's finest ATS chief Hemant Karkare, Additional Commissioner Ashok Kamte, Encounter Specialist Vijay Salaskar, and ASI Tukaram Omble, who died capturing and defending their motherland while fighting with the terrorists. Their courage, along with the restraint of the hotel staff and Mumbai police, saved hundreds of lives. The captured gunman Ajmal Kasab confessed to being trained in Pakistan by Lashkar-e-Toiba. His testimony, call intercepts, GPS data, and international investigations showed the terrorists sailed from Karachi and were guided in real time by handlers across the border. Pakistan later acknowledged Kasab's nationality, and global agencies identified Lashkar leaders as the key conspirators in the plot. Kasab was convicted in India and executed in 2012, but the masterminds, including Hafiz Saeed and Zakiur Rahman Lakfi, remain shielded in Pakistan. Trials there have moved slowly, with brief arrests but no meaningful convictions. The United States and the United Nations have sanctioned several Lashkar operatives, yet the accountability is incomplete without prosecution of those who planned, financed, and directed the attacks. India has since strengthened coastal security, expanded NSG hubs, and empowered the National Investigation Agency, reforms shaped directly by the 26/11 attacks. International cooperation has intensified, leading to cases against operatives like David Headley and the extradition of Tahawur Rana to face trial in India. As the nation pays tribute today, families say justice will be served only when every architect of the Mumbai attack is brought to book, no matter how long it takes. Bureau Report, DD India.
Well, India is a land of diverse cultures, and it's true of drama too. Be it the Chaitra from West Bengal, the Bhavai from Gujarat, or Kathakali from Kerala, all these art forms are intrinsically rooted in the culture and folklore of Indian epics. One such type of dance drama act is the Ankiya, popularly known as Bhaona in Assam. The tradition started by Srimanta Sankar Dev continues to carry forward his legacy. DD India's Subina Roy reports for more.
The audiences are soaked in awe and wonder as Bhaona continues in the local playgrounds of Assam. Traditionally known as Onkyo Naats or dramas written by 15th century saint Srimanta Shankardev in Brajavali were called Bhaona. These simple yet powerful dramas include an orchestra of singers and instrumentalists popularly known as Gayons and Bayons, and actors perform in glittering costumes representing various characters like kings, queens, demons and animals. The performance begins with the actors passing through an archway of lights called Agnigar. 9 lamps are lit over the arc to demonstrate 9 modes of devotion. Before Agnigar, it enlightens the arena and symbolizes Shravan, listening, and Kirtan, recitation. The Sutradhar, one who narrates the play, acts as a chorus explaining the story with the help of orchestra to make it easier for the audience to understand.
एक्चुअली क्या है, हम लोग का यहाँ पे जो भावना है वो हम लोग का गुरुजी का एक शिक्षा बोल सकते हैं. हम लोग का जो गुरुजी है वो हम लोग का समाज में एक संस्कृत और दिशा के लिए, शिक्षा के लिए, ये आप लोग हम धर्म रूप से जैसे आगे बढ़ा उसी हिसाब से हम लोग को भावना सृष्टि हुआ। भावना से आपका अंतरात्मा और हम लोग का जो नवप्रजन्म है उन लोग को नैतिक और धार्मिक ये दोनों दिशों में उन लोग को शिक्षा मिलता है।
Bhavna has been refurbished with new linguistic flavor with the usage of modern Assamese language and story content for creating an impact among people. The age-old tradition of Bhavna continues to influence Assam in every aspect of language, economy and social norms. The beat of tolls and the rhythm of cymbals, along with songs of Sri Hari Ram, and you can see behind me the characters of Sri Krishna and Kamsa being played at the Bhavna Samaroh. This tradition of Assamese culture not just carries forward the legacy of Srimanta Shankardev, but also the intangible heritage of Assam. We dedicate Dibrugarh team, Subina Roy, TD India.
Well, India celebrates National Milk Day today, marking the birth anniversary of Dr. Varghese Kurian, the father of the White Revolution. This day highlights the country's progress in milk production, cooperative reforms and women-led dairying. Here's a report. Milk has long been at the heart of India's nutritional system, and today India is the world's largest milk producer, contributing nearly 1/4 of global output. Over the last 11 years, India's dairy sector has surged by 70%, supporting over 8 crore farmers, many of them women. National Milk Day honours Dr. Varghese Kurian, whose vision transformed India from a milk-deficient nation in the 1960s into a dairy powerhouse. Beginning with the Anand model and Amul cooperative, the White Revolution reorganised farmers, modernised procurement and connected rural milk to urban markets.
It is indeed a matter of pride for India to be the largest producer of milk in the world. India is also on the cusp of the White Revolution 2.0, which has been spearheaded by the Ministry of Cooperation, Government of India. This will indeed make India a dairy to the world, and in the next 1 decade, we are looking to produce 1/3 of the total milk in the world. Milk is indeed a symbol of India's Atmanirbharta, not just the food security part of it, but also a symbol of women empowerment and how through cooperatives we can bring together the small milk producers and make India a global force.
Milk production has jumped from 146 million tons in 2014 and 15 to 239 million tons in 2023. Per capita availability has risen nearly fourfold, reaching 471 grams per person per day. Flagship schemes like the Rashtriya Gokul Mission and National Artificial Insemination Program are boosting genetic potential and animal health. More than 9 crore animals have been covered under artificial insemination supported by 22 IVF labs. Village-level technicians called Maitris now deliver doorstep breeding services across India. Under the National Programme for Dairy Development, over 31,000 cooperative societies have been revised or formed. More than 61,000 village milk testing labs, 6,000 bulk milk coolers and several modern processing plants have been set up. Women remain central, 70% of the dairy workforce, with over 48,000 women-led cooperatives emerging nationwide. A major boost also came in September 2025 when the GST Council reduced the taxes on key dairy products. As India marks National Milk Day 2025, the nation honors not only Dr. Kurian's legacy but also the millions of farmers, especially women, who keep the milk flowing and the economy growing. Meghna Dev for DD India. And now let's take a look at other stories making news today. In Jammu and Kashmir, in response to the dropping mercury, the Udhampur Wildlife Department's Tanderak Rescue Centre has been providing enhanced care for a herd of deer under its protection. Sheds have been built for 40 deers here that don't allow any wind to pass through. Ford is also being ensured the animals to stay warm. A veterinary doctor also visits them once a week to keep a check. More than 2 lakh migratory birds of 87 different species have arrived at Chilika Lake in Odisha, with this number expected to rise as the winter season continues. The Chilika Wildlife Division is implementing conservation measures, including 21 protection camps to ensure the safety of the birds from poaching. Chilika Wildlife Division DFO Amlan Nayak said this year the number of migratory birds has exceeded 2 lakh compared to last year. Badrinath Dham's portals were ceremonially closed for the winter season. A large number of devotees gathered to offer prayers on the last day before priest Raval Amarnath Nambudiri performing the traditional rituals and formally closed the temple gates. The temple were adorned with 12 quintals of flowers, and the final darshan took place amid the soulful echoes of the song Bedu Pako Baramasa. And still to come on DD India Newshour. 24 schoolgirls freed after abduction in northwestern Nigeria as Tinubu urges stronger security. Madrid marches as thousands rally on International Day to end violence against women. And Trump grants Thanksgiving clemency to turkeys, gobble and waddle in annual White House tradition.
This week on Defense Dynamics, India's DRDO and France's DGA have signed a pact on technology transfer, what it involves and why it is a game changer. Across the Atlantic, the United States has approved a possible sale of Javelin anti-tank missiles to India, small in size, strategic in impact, and another clearance of 216 Excalibur GPS-guided artillery rounds, boosting India's precision strike capability. Catch the sharpest analysis of power, posture and technology this Wednesday at 8 p.m. IST only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Kunana. Time now for a quick recap of the headlines. India celebrates Constitution Day today. President Draupadi Murmu will lead celebrations at the Old Parliament Building's historic Central Hall. Vice President, Prime Minister, Speaker of the Lok Sabha and others to attend. India hits back at Beijing for calling Arunachal Pradesh China's part after detention of an Indian citizen, says Arunachal Pradesh is an integral and inalienable part of India. US envoy Steve Witkoff will meet with Putin next week as Trump removes Thursday deadline for reaching a deal. Zelensky welcomes principles of new US draft to end conflict. Brazil's ex-president Jair Bolsonaro starts serving 27-year sentence for coup plot. And moving on, US President Donald Trump on Tuesday backed away from his earlier Thursday deadline for Ukraine to agree to a US-backed peace plan, saying the deadline for me is when it's over. Well, Trump said US negotiators were making progress in discussions with Russia and Ukraine, and Moscow had agreed to some concessions. Also, Trump said his envoy Steve Witkoff would be meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Moscow, and his son-in-law Jared Kushner was also involved. President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Tuesday that Ukraine was ready to advance a US-backed framework for ending conflict with Russia and discuss disputed points with President Trump. But Zelensky said any talks should also include Ukraine's European allies.
Now we have a good result from Geneva and from the meetings and talks that took place there. Ukraine has to has the framework developed by our teams in Geneva. That framework is on the table, and we are ready to move forward together with the United States of America, with personal engagement of President Trump, and with Europe, with leaders, and with all partners who have their strengths and capacity to help. And I'm ready to meet with President Trump, and there are sensitive points to discuss. We have them still.
Well, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer on Tuesday said that London was ready to move with the European Union on providing financial support to Ukraine based on the value of immobilized assets.
Must support Ukraine now. So even as we work towards peace, and we are, there could be no letting up of support to keep Ukraine in the fight. And that requires urgent solutions on things like financing and capability. We, the UK, are ready to move with the EU on providing financial support based on the value of the immobilized assets. This is the best way to show Putin he should negotiate rather than trying to outweight us.
Well, French President Emmanuel Macron said France will finalize with other European Union countries a solution for providing financial support to Ukraine using frozen Russian assets. Macron also said the coalition will launch a working group led by France and Britain with close involvement from Turkey.
We are clearly at a crucial juncture. Negotiations are getting a new impetus, and we should seize this momentum, not because there is reason for alarm. Ukraine is solid, Russia is slow, and Europe is steadfast, but because there is finally a chance to make real progress toward a good peace. But the absolute condition for a good peace is a set of very robust security guarantees and not paper guarantees.
Well, moving on, Russian strategic missile carriers have conducted a patrol flight over the neutral waters of the Arctic Ocean. Russian Defense Ministry said that the flight carried out by Tu-160 planes lasted 11 hours. Footage released by the Defense Ministry showed Tu-160 plane taking off and during a flight. And Israel received the body of what is believed to be a deceased hostage in Gaza via the Red Cross. A convoy carrying the body arriving at the country's National Forensic Institute for identification was seen. If confirmed as a hostage, this would leave the remains of 2 hostages still held in Gaza. Islamic Jihad, which is allied with Hamas, seized hostages during the October 7, 2023 attack that precipitated the Gaza attacks, and the body was recovered in central Gaza. Under the October deal between Hamas and Israel, after 2 years of devastating conflict, Hamas freed 20 surviving hostages held in Gaza in exchange for nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners and wartime detainees held by Israel. And Syrian security forces opened fire into the air on Tuesday to break up clashing groups of demonstrators in the coastal city of Latakia, the stronghold of the country's Alawite minority. Well, hundreds of Alawite protesters had gathered to demand a decentralized political system and the release of detainees they say were unjustly held by the new authorities. Government supporters soon arrived, trading insults with the group. About an hour into the rally, gunfire erupted in Agriculture Square, one of the main protest sites. Latakia's media chief, Noruddin El-Brimo, said security forces intervened to disperse both the sides, while unidentified gunmen also fired at civilians and the officers. The protest was called by Supreme Alawite Islamic Council Chief Ghazal Ghazal, who urged peaceful demonstrations. Syria's President Ahmed al-Shara has vowed to rule for all Syrians, but the long civil war and recent violence continue to fuel fears of deeper instability. And Brazil's Supreme Court on Tuesday ordered former far-right President Jair Bolsonaro to begin 27-year prison sentence for a coup plot against his successor, a climax to years of political turmoil. Well, the top court formally concluded the case against Bolsonaro, marking his conviction final, pending confirmation by a 4-member Supreme Court panel in the evening. The panel already rejected his appeal this month. Now, while Congressman Eduardo Bolsonaro, the former president's son, said that Bolsonaro's prosecution was psychological torture and a rigged game.
All that he's going through stems from psychological pressure, a form of psychological torture. as he himself says, because someone who needs an electronic bracelet, someone who is already under house arrest, known throughout the country and even more, so with armed security at his door 24 hours a day and surveillance cameras, then the truth is that all the pressure is coming down on Jair Bolsonaro. If an amnesty law is passed, it will cease.
Well, Bolsonaro supporters and critics gathered outside Brazil's federal police headquarters in Brasilia on Tuesday after the sentence. Supporters argued with Bolsonaro loyalists, some of whom carried banners asking for amnesty for all political prisoners and exiles. Bolsonaro also served more than 100 days under house arrest in Brasilia while facing charges he solicited Trump's interference on his behalf. And thousands of protesters marched through Madrid on Tuesday to mark the International Day for Elimination of Violence Against Women. Demonstrators held signs, sang, chanted and played drums as they walked along the city's central Atocha street. 38 women have been killed in Spain by their partners or former partners so far in 2025. The total number of victims since 2023 currently stands at 1,333. The United Nations officially recognized November 25th as the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women in the year 2000 to raise awareness and promote action against gender-based violence. And 7 people have gone on trial in Dresden, eastern Germany, charged with being members or supporters of a militant criminal left-wing extremist group, Antifa, also known as the Hammer Gang. Prosecutors mentioned that the 7 defendants, including 6 men and 1 woman, the Dresden court stated that the defendants from a militant far-left group formed in 2017 to 18 faced charges including attempted murder, assault, theft and property damages in attack up to 2023. It also said that the criminal proceedings are scheduled to continue through 2027. Germany's Interior Ministry said the group's threat has greatly decreased due to the arrest of its leaders and noted that it is known for a preferred weapon used in its attacks. Earlier this month, Washington designated this group and 3 other European groups as specially designated global terrorists, accusing them of politically motivating violence. Well, moving on, 24 schoolgirls abducted from a government boarding school in northwestern Nigeria last week have been freed, the Kebbi State Governor's media aide confirmed on Tuesday. The students were taken on November 17th after armed men stormed the school just months after the military unit left the area, an attack that sparked a series of similar kidnappings across Kwara and Niger states. President Bola Tinubu welcomed the girls' safe return, urging security agencies to intensify operations to rescue others still in captivity. He said he was relieved that all 24 victims had been found and called for urgent deployment of more personnel to vulnerable regions to prevent further abductions. Mass kidnappings for ransom remain widespread in northern Nigeria, where heavily armed gangs frequently overwhelm the local security forces. And Sudan's brutal power struggle escalated on Tuesday as the army announced it had fought off a major RSS assault on its infantry base in the strategic town of Baba Nusa, its last stronghold in West Kordofan. The clash erupted even as Washington pushed desperately for peace. Speaking in Abu Dhabi, U.S. Africa envoy Masad Boulos revealed that neither side has accepted a new ceasefire plan, but forward by the Quad nations. His appeal for an unconditional humanitarian truce came just hours after RSF chief Mohammed Hamdan Daglo declared a unilateral 3-month pause, only for his forces to be accused of attacking each other.
A strong text for a truce, but neither the SAF nor RSF have formally accepted the text we put forward. We and our international partners are ready to support a truce and the delivery of humanitarian assistance.
Well, after Ethiopia's Haile Gubi volcano erupted, scientists are saying that there had been higher seismic activity over the past year in the Afar region. Air India cancelled several flights on Tuesday after ash plumes from the eruption disrupted operations. Air Alaska also scrapped numerous flights to Middle East destinations, including Jeddah, Kuwait and Abu Dhabi. Professor Attale Isle explained that scientists and measured increased seismic activity over the past years in the Afar region near the Arta Al range in which the Heli Gubi volcano is situated. He also said volcanic ash may cause safety issues for planes. While volcanic eruptions in the Afar region are not new, he said there have been records of the Heli Gubi volcano erupting.
Or decision makers of any region for that matter, we always undermine. We may not have such a big disaster in Ethiopia, but the last 1 year, in our doorsteps from Addis, for instance, there was an intense activity in Fantale that was being widely felt in Addis and other towns in the region. So it's also possible that that size of event can happen not far from Addis Ababa. So our preparation is very fragile. Always we are taken by surprise. Breaking news, okay.
And moving on, Thailand had put its military in charge of tackling a devastating flood crisis on Tuesday and readied reinforcements to evacuate thousands of people. Thailand's military has deployed a C-130 transport aircraft carrying medicine, food and drinking water. The Navy said it is dispatching 14 boats in the aircraft carrier Chakri Neurabet, which will carry 2 helicopters, doctors and field kitchens capable of producing 3,000 meals a day. Floodwaters running as high as 2 meters in some areas have struck 9 southern provinces and killed 13 people in Thailand, while seeking states in neighboring Malaysia were inundated. Heavy rain hobbled relief efforts after some of the worst flooding to hit the housing areas. And now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. The bodies of 2 climbers, including one from the United States, have been recovered after the pair fell to their death from New Zealand's highest mountain during a summit attempt. The men were part of a group of 4, 2 New Zealand-based guides and 2 clients climbing Mount Cook or Aoraki when they fell from a ridge. Helicopters continued to search through the night and located the bodies of 2 missing climbers and recovered their bodies around midday. U.S. President Donald Trump on Tuesday participated in the annual White House tradition of pardoning Thanksgiving turkeys during a ceremony held on the White House grounds. Trump pardoned 2 giant white-plumed turkeys named Gobble and Waddle, sparing them from Thanksgiving dinner tables and adding to more than 1,600 pardons as he planted his charm. The birds, treated as VIPs, will live at North Carolina State University. Australia's Marine Science Agency is testing an AI-guided system that helps boats mounted with a special device to drop boat corals in precise locations of the Great Barrier Reef. The deployment guidance system combines a range of technologies, building autonomous boats and real-time camera image of a seafloor with an AI computer to tell a dispenser when to release some small ceramic devices carrying juvenile corals. And still to come on DD India Newshour. India faces monumental task on final day as South Africa set 549 runs to target in Guwahati Test. Sports Minister felicitates unbeaten Indian women's blind cricket team after historic T20 World Cup. And we'll get you glimpses from IFFI 56 in Goa as it concludes Creative Minds of Tomorrow and waves the Film Bazaar.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana and on to some sports news now. Talking about India versus South Africa, India will look to pull off a miracle against South Africa when day 5 of the second and final test resumes in Guwahati today. The host is staring at another home series loss after being given a mammoth target of 549 runs by South Africa to win the second and final test match and draw the series. At the close of fourth day's play, India were at 27 runs with the loss of 2 wickets with Sai Sudarshan at the crease along with night watchman Kuldeep Yadav. The hosts need another 522 runs with a day left to pull off a miracle. Earlier, South Africa declared their innings at 260 runs for 5 wickets after taking a lead of 548 runs. With the match heavily tilted in South Africa's favour, India now faces a monumental job, that is to bat out nearly 3 sessions to salvage a draw or somehow script one of the greatest chases in Test history. And India's Sports Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia felicitated the Indian women's blind cricket team at his residence in New Delhi for winning the inaugural Blind 2020 World Cup in Sri Lanka. The minister praised their courage, discipline and the inspiration they are given to millions. The blind women team defeated Nepal by 7 wickets in the final played by Colombo, Sri Lanka on Sunday and remained undefeated throughout the tournament. The tournament featured 6 teams: India, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Australia and the United States of America. The blind cricket team's victory came closely on the heels of the Indian women team's first ever ICC Cricket World Cup victory on home soil. And the 5th edition of Creative Minds of Tomorrow concluded in Goa, the 56th IFFI. The day also witnessed the closing of the Waves film Bazaar. DD India's Deepika reports from Goa for more.
From soft cash to scholarships, there was a lot in store for the winners and the participants of Creative Mind of Tomorrow's 5th edition. Not only this, the Waves Film Bazaar also concluded in great style and also was a rewarding experience for all the participating students. Let's take a look at this report that tells you all about both the unique and flagship initiatives of International Film Festival of India. The 5th edition of IFFI's flagship initiative, Creative Minds of Tomorrow, concluded with a showcase of best cinematic experiences, both for the participants and the jury. CMOT featured around 125 young talents in a total of 13 film crafts from across the country, out of which it became really difficult for the jury to choose the best ones because all came out with flying colours. However, with a remarkable script, storyline, production and graphics, it was Team Blue that won the coveted title that included prize money and scholarship.
I think I just had to fully trust my team, and which is what I did, and I felt extremely supported by everyone. So I'm very grateful for CMOT and NFDC for creating this.
There were different award categories, straight from the best actors to the best actress and the best DOP. This time, a special inclusion was the animation category. And it was Team Green that bagged multiple awards, including the best actress, as they ended with the runners-up title.
I couldn't have been luckier with all of these people. They're amazing. They're so good at what they do, and I just hope that I get to collaborate with them in the future. That's my future plan.
The Waves Film Bazaar also awarded different participating categories on its closing day. Students bagged multiple awards and soft cash. With an aim to give wings to their dreams, the Waves Film Bazaar concluded for the 56th edition of IFFI.
It's very surreal. I still can't believe we have received this award. We worked very hard. It's been just 4 years for me. I'm working on this film, and for the past 2 years, me and my producer, we've been working day and night on this film. Finally, it's found its place. We're going to the people, we're going to the audience. And we are genuinely very grateful for NFDC Film Bazaar.
The award-winning soft cash, scholarship and even the certificate of appreciations boosted the dreams of young filmmakers who not only got the much-needed exposure and learning experience to match the global level, but also got hope to dive into the sea of opportunities India has. And there you heard straight from the talent itself how happy they were to receive the awards and also the recognition at Waves Film Bazaar as well as the Creative Minds of Tomorrow. These initiatives, these encouragements will definitely give wings to their dreams for their upcoming future endeavors. With camera person Senthil, this is Deepika reporting for DD India from Goa.
All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.